We're impacted. We are impacted. We're impacted. We're ready to get up. We want to win. Light the fire of power that make us free. We never break down. We want to win. We are impacted. The best team.
Oh, hello and welcome to TNI-UK Impacted. Bison is away, so it's coming. It is today just me hosting, coming at you live via the Total Nonstop Impact. No, sorry, coming at you live via Total Nonstop Impact Network on YouTube, Twitch, and for you listening on the go, we're also available on Spotify, SoundCloud, iTunes, and wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. I am your host, the Joker. Huge event we had under Siege was absolutely incredible. So, and then surprisingly, a nice, decent amount of news and rumors for you guys too. So, I'll run through them quickly, and anyone in the chat, by all means, just drop a message and everything. Your feedback today is going to be really helpful. So we'll get started with your news and rumors. First of all, birthday shout out to Josh Alexander, who had and to Steve Macklin. Happy birthday to Josh for Tuesday, and happy birthday to Macklin, who bravely defended his title against PCO on his birthday. What a fuck! You talk about birthday bumps. I think that took it to the extreme. And hello, Barry Monkey. It's good to see you. And Bison's in the house. Hello. How are you? How is everything going in Greece? I've seen some pictures and seen some videos. You're looking fantastic. Well, let everyone else know how everything's going. It's good to see you. And that's the pleasantries out of the way. Thank you, Bison. We'll now quickly go on to some bad news. Unfortunately, Mike Bailey has been eliminated from the Best of the Super Juniors tournament by Master Waito in their clash at the semi-finals. But Mike Bailey can leave with his head held high. He was the only one in the top at the top of the A branch. He's his side of the tournament. And he got to the top. He stayed there throughout the entire thing. I think he in total he only lost one match in between going for his start of the tournament going through to the semi-finals, which is absolutely incredible. He and Master Waito was the runner-up in his class of the tournament. So Mike Bailey, on paper, was the favorite going through, and he just got unlucky on the night. The match is available on Impact Plus and YouTube Insiders. I haven't had a chance to check it out yet, mind you. But I will be doing that tonight because I was heartbroken at the news that Mike Bailey isn't going to be going all the way. And he was nice enough to thank me for my support towards him, which is good to see. Let's see. More members of the roster have also been confirmed for the Down Under Tour in Australia, Wagga Wagga. Joe Hendry is going to be going. The Motor City Machine Guns will be going, along as well as Chris Bay and Ace Austin. They will all be joining Diana Perazzo and Steve Mackin, who were confirmed earlier this month. We had another episode of Callahan Uncensored this week. This week he interviewed Gia Miller, and I recommend you guys check this one out because this was really interesting, an interesting watch too. We got to find out about Gia's, how she got into the business and everything, and she only did 10. She's only had 10 matches as a professional wrestler before going straight through to Impact Wrestling. It's all like stars aligned and good fortune and misfortune because she had 10 matches only because of the pandemic. And when the pandemic hit, she and Ace Austin was stuck with Havoc and Sammy Callahan during lockdown. And throughout the pandemic, she then got recommended and pushed through to Impact Wrestling. I recommend you guys check it out when you can. It is a really good one, and you get Sammy Callahan vents a bit of frustration about East Austin and his time management skills, which is always good to see because Gio Miller seems to share them too. And there's a lot of other stuff that you find out about Gio as well, about what she does backstage. You know, she isn't just she isn't just an extra voice on BTI or backstage. So I didn't know she made a lot of the attire for wrestlers. She's made the attire for Moose and Diana Perazzo in the past. So it's interesting to find out. She just had a hell of a lot to talk about. It was just so much you don't know until you check it out. Hello, Zach. It's good to see you. And Gary, what's up? What's happened? You've been blocked by Bully Ray. Oh God. Oh well, don't worry about it. I'm sure Bully's got his reasons for being a bit of a bitch, but I don't know. I'll probably get blocked now for that. Taylor Wilde also interviewed Charlie Evans on her this week on her Wild On podcast. I've not had a chance to check that out yet, but that seems to be a pretty interesting talking point too. This week's My First Day by IMPACT Wrestling features Brian Myers. He talked about his how he spent 13 years of his 18-year career at WWE as a wrestler, as a producer and promoter, and despite renewing a long-term contract, he was eventually fired, as we all know, in 2020 due to, I'm not going to go into the nitty-gritty and slag off the other companies. There's no need for it. Let's try and be professional, seeing as it's a one-man guy. But Myers was left as shell-shocked as everyone would have thought he was. It only took after about 2 weeks of just thinking about where he should go next. Tommy Dreamer and Doc Gallows brought him up to Impact Wrestling, and as a huge wrestling fan himself, this wasn't like daunting for Brian Myers. He was looking to he was aware there was other companies out from WWE after he got going. So he was aware of other companies and everything. It's just where to go. And after Doc Gallows and Dreamer brought him in, the biggest daunting thing for Brian Myers was just there's no one here. There's no crowd. Where's all the crowd gone? Because his first match against Eddie Edwards was obviously under lockdown, so all the crowd wasn't in the audience, which is a shame because he's been so impressive since day one. If he had an audience for his first match, I'm pretty sure it would have been much more. He would have got a much different reception from ex-WWE fans or current WWE fans, or however you want to. Yeah. Exactly. Barry Monkey, exactly. It's good to see you too. 13 years since WWE before hitting it big time in Impact Wrestling, without a doubt. He's been 15. He's been wrestling for 18 years, so to spend 13 years of it at WWE is incredible, and he's just done an amazing job. Matches announced for Against All Odds. We have the first ever 8-for-1 match featuring Bully Ray, Jonathan Gresham, Heath, and Nick Aldis versus Moose, Mike Bailey, Rich Swann, and PCO. I will give you guys the outline of this match. They were good enough to explain this online. It starts as a 4-on-4 tag team match, 8-man tag team match. The winning team then faces each other in a 4-way dance, and the winner of that gets a World Championship shot at Slammiversary. So I think we can see where Nick Aldis is going to get his title shot from. But it's an interesting concept and another first event, first thing ever by Impact Wrestling. Let's see who copies it later on down the line. Chris Sabin will get his rematch against Trey Miguel for the X Division title at Against All Odds. And as I'm pretty sure we're all aware, but I will be going into later on, Alex Shelley has a match against Steve Mackin for the world title as well. Under Siege hit the top for most trending topics on Twitter, but there was no updates on commentary as to how high it went after we reached the Design versus OVE. So it might have gone higher, it might have gone lower, but watching it back, the highest I saw it go to was number 4, and that was just by word of mouth because I'd watched it on Sunday. And before I get onto the reverse, ask how everyone's been doing. How's your week been, and what were your thoughts of Under Siege before I dive into it? How's everybody? Oh, and we are joined by the Bone Daddy himself. Hey, you are just in time. We're just about to start the review, and everyone's like got dead air. So hopefully, I've not done driven everyone away.
Good day to you and good day to everyone watching. How's everyone doing? Hope you had a good weekend. For those of you who are in America, it was Memorial Day weekend. Hope you had a good and safe weekend. For the rest of you, hope you just had a really good weekend, you know. And of course, here's Rocky saying hello. Joe, how you been, man? We haven't talked in a bit.
I'm all right, thank you. I've got the two dogs dancing out with me between my legs at the moment. So if you see the laptop rocking, that's them banging my legs.
Puppies!
Yeah.
You got the puppies and I got the kitties. That's just an awesome mix right there, man. Bison's in the chat. Bison, what are you doing in the chat? No, I'm kidding. Bison obviously had stuff going on today. I didn't hear what, but nonetheless, Bison, have a great day with whatever you're doing. So, man, we had a hell of a weekend of wrestling. I tell you what, dude, I am absolutely burnt out on wrestling.
Yeah. Yeah, we've had Under Siege as well. We had Under Siege, then we had AEW Double or Nothing, and WWE did something as well, didn't they? So we've had a
Night of Champions. I mean, they, and to each their own. Whatever you're watching, it's like it's all good in its own way. And man, holy cow! I'm going to confess something right now. The way my body's been and the way it just reacts to certain things, I have to confess, I actually slept through part of Under Siege. Now, please don't take that as in, oh, it was boring to him and he didn't like it. No, it's not that at all. I was very excited for it. There was some stuff that I absolutely did watch and was like, horrified by it, but some stuff I just didn't catch, but I'm planning on catching up with it. It was most of the stuff in the middle. It's like the start and the finish is the stuff I caught. Yeah. So I'll help with what I can as far as what we're gonna talk about and stuff. Some stuff I'm just gonna nod my head and fake.
Yeah, I did send you guys a copy of the script over a messenger if you want to check that out. It's not been updated yet, but I've pretty much got everything covered on the script otherwise.
Okay, yeah, just throw me bullet points, whatever you're talking about, and I'll just feed off of it. So it's all good.
Yeah, we've just run through all the news and rumors and stuff. If you heard about Mike Bailey's loss, I want to get your reaction to that. Mike Bailey's out of the Best of Super Juniors tournament. He lost against Master Waito in the semifinals.
I watched some of the first matches. I was able to catch some clips online. Man, I was really hoping he would go all the way, just because he has been having a career year ever since he started getting on TV with Impact Wrestling. And that's not to say he won't have his day in the future. I'm sure. Look, Impact, you got to look at this relationship, big picture wise. Impact fans are blessed. We've had how many people go over there and represent Impact Wrestling? I believe Josh Alexander was over there within the last year for something before he got injured. Speedball was just over there in the Super Juniors. Bay and Ace have been over there. I believe at separate times, not together. So yeah, we really can't complain. Can't complain at all. No. It's all good. It's,
Ace Austin's been there twice, and Chris Bay's first time there was with Ace Austin.
There you go.
Yeah, literally like plucked out of the blue. Let's see what you guys can do together. And now they're tag team champions of the world, and they've had one of the best matches of their career on Friday.
Yeah. So it's all good. It's all big picture wise. It's all positive for Impact Wrestling. Impact Wrestling fans, they're so lucky to have a guy like Speedball.
Mr. No Days
on the
Off
roster. He's just Dude, he's just sick, man. He's always
Yeah.
surprising us. It's just crazy.
Yeah, Mike Bailey's like Mr. No Days Off. He wrestles sometimes like four or five different events a night. It's just insane, and and for him to have that carry on through to Japan like he did, he was top of the whole bracket from after only one loss from throughout the entire stages up until the semi-finals. One loss in between then. That was incredible. I messaged him and said, "You went through." Got to the top of the table and you stayed there right way through to the semi-finals. You got that loss was nothing to be ashamed of. You just proved everyone how good you are, and I got a thank you from him, which is nice.
Right.
I do also, yeah. Well, I do feel like my high praise for him is also I had high praise for Ray Austin going through when he went through the singles, and that eventually got him knocked out. So I'm hoping I didn't jinx it now. And then I had high expectations and high praise for Ace and Bay, and then the Bullet Club get fall short as well. So it's like, oh shit, what have I done?
No, they love it. They love us. They appreciate the whatever. They're a different. I don't want to say they're a different class of wrestler, but
yeah,
when they see the fandom from Impact, speak up online, they appreciate it. I know they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll jump into the review. We'll get the review underway. It's good to see Dead Punk in the chat. It's good to see Norris and Mir. Good to see Bonkers. This list of list of events of the weekend.
Oh yeah, there was so much. The only one I didn't take part in was the Battleground from NXT. But I tell you what, I've honestly, not that I've gone out of my way to look for stuff, but I've heard a lot of people say that was better than Night of Champions. I thought Night of Champions was pretty damn good. So hey, whatever, to each their own. It was like I said, it was a crazy ass weekend of wrestling. There was something for everyone.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll start off with the countdown matches. Obviously, we've first of all got Courtney Rush and Jessica, the new reinvented Death Dolls versus the Coven. I've not seen last week's Impact Wrestling yet, so this is my first time seeing Courtney Rush officially back in Impact Wrestling. If you ignore the special they did at the Comic-Con last year, when Courtney Rush made a cameo appearance then. So I was really, really impressed to see. I was shocked that Rosemary didn't come back out from the Underground Realm, and that James Mitchell did indeed fulfill Bison's prediction that we'll see Courtney Rush instead. But it was an incredible match.
Was he looking at spoilers? Come on.
Yeah. Well, actually, he did recently speak to Rosemary in an interview, so I'm pretty sure she must have handed something down from the Valley of the Shadows. You never know.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, being there live in Chicago for the reveal, which was shown last week, that literally came out of nowhere. We had no clue. I mean, we kind of thought there was going to be some kind of conclusion to the story or something.
Yeah.
That either Rosemary was going to return with some help or something. We had no clue Courtney Rush was going to appear out of nowhere. That was a great surprise. That was my first time, I'm sure, along with many others, seeing Rosemary with no makeup, Courtney as herself.
Yeah.
And to see her alongside of Jessica in the opener here was really, I watched that a few times just because I'm like, man, and then she had the bright orange hair, and then she dyed it jet black, but she's got all the crazy gear on, just like Jessica, the neon colors. It's rad. I'm dating myself when I say it's rad, but it really was. It was exciting. I liked it. It was refreshing.
I'll just run through the highlights that I got off of the Impact website. Taylor Wilde inadvertently collides with her own partner. Rush attempts a sharpshooter on Courtney Wilde, but Kylan King hits her with a German suplex from behind. The Coven cut the ring off and begin to wear Courtney Rush down throughout the match. Rush creates some separation and makes a tag back to Jessica, who goes on the attack. Jessica hits a running splash from Kylan King. Jessica intercepts Kylan King as Rush locks in the sharpshooter, forcing Taylor to submit. I'm pretty sure I probably missed a chunk of what was on the website off, because that's like the second half of the match just there and then, but there wasn't a lot of notes on this one on the website. So this one is a match you do have to, but this match got such a huge pop that they did make it available on Impact's YouTube's page, free to watch for the entire match without anything else in added. So by Sunday, I found that as a separate link as well. But the only thing I can think of is when I saw Rosemary's Diary, and she was basically talking as Courtney Rush then. That was, for me, that was almost like a message that Courtney Rush might be coming into Impact Wrestling. But it still was like, oh my god, it's like a different person.
That was really interesting timing. I gotta say that, yeah. Because the week before we had literally been talking about the Diary, which was really good, folks. If you haven't seen the Diary of Rosemary, you got to check it out. It's and several of these are big on the subject of like mental health and how important it is to take care of your mental health. And Courtney's is very, very similar. I mean, they're all different stories, but a lot of them intertwine as far as using wrestling to get out of that, get the bug out of your head, in a sense.
Yeah. But one thing that's really got me thinking was when she said, she was talking about her injury, when she got injured, if her character just disappears for a while, would anyone notice and would anyone care if she's gone? I think now that Courtney Rush is back, she's putting that to the test again. Now Rosemary will be wrestling elsewhere. She's going to be appearing at different events in Canada and that at the moment, but on Impact Wrestling terms, she won't be there at all. So will the fans really miss her while she's gone? And will there be the same buzz she got like when she came back from injury to take out Su Yung while Ali was being destroyed?
I look at it this way. I missed some of like the very, very early stuff of Rosemary when she was like really like terrifying, very Marilyn Manson-ish, in the Corgan, the Billy Corgan, directed days, those days of decay. But she's always evolved. She's always evolved her character, her look. I mean, a lot of it's been the similar, but Rosemary's always been changing and evolving throughout the last seven or so years that she's been on Impact Wrestling. She's gone from terrifying to a little more cartoonish, back to being spooky. She's done it all, and it's been such a ride.
I've always said she's like the queen of kayfabe. She is one of the best character-driven wrestlers out there on the planet.
Oh, and I've never seen an interview of hers not in character.
Yeah,
that was even more mind-blowing, seeing her come out as Courtney and then getting to meet her after that show. I was like, I didn't know how to take it. I'm like, who are you? You're expecting this spooky, hi, I'm Rosemary, and instead it was this bubbly, very, what's the word? What's that? Yes, thank you. That's exactly what I was trying to think of. Very charismatic, but very humble, because she was also, in a sense, not scared, but she was wondering how the fans were going to react. But she got a ton of love that night. She really did. And I know she got a ton of love at Under Siege too. So this is the start of a whole new chapter for her, and I'm ecstatic to be a fan and watch her do this with with Jessica. So
Okay, we'll move on to Joe Hendry versus Dirty Dango for the digital media title. Obviously, we now know who attacked Santina Morella, and we all know that's disgusting.
That's disgusting!
it was absolutely disgusting. And
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I wasn't a big fan of the ending here. I didn't know if we were gonna get a title change, but I tell you what, and then to get the DQ because
In the scrotissimus region?
that's right, he hit him in that doggone scrotissimus region. I was like, really? It was certainly. I mean, it was interesting to see Dango as a full blown heel,
Yeah.
and but then just to like end it in a low blow seemed a little anticlimactic. But I'm sure this is far from over, so we'll see where it goes. What'd you think, man?
Yeah. I enjoyed it, but I'll go into my opinion after. Just do the rundown of the match. Dango starts the match by retreating outside the ring, and Joe Hendry catches him with by delivering a running clothesline, throwing him back into the ring. Hendry hits him with a power slam, and then displays his power with connects delayed vertical suplex with multiple squats in between, just to add that extra moxie to his amazing power. Dango targets the leg of Joe Hendry to try and turn the tide momentarily. Hendry comes back with a cutter out from the corner, followed by his signature fall-away slam. And then, as we come up to the ending, Dango hits him with the low blow right in front of the referee, getting disqualification. This I could see coming clearly. He was just there solely to burn down Joe Hendry. He wasn't there. He didn't care about winning the belts. He was just there really to take out Santina Morella and take out all these guys like Joe Hendry who aren't, as he sees it, serious wrestlers. And after the match, of course, Dirty Dango continues his assault against Joe Hendry until Director of Authority Santina Morella makes his return. And Morella is out for revenge. And after it was revealed that Dango is the one who attacked him several weeks ago. Yeah, so
son of a gun.
Son of a gun. Yeah. I enjoyed the yeah, here we go. Barry Monkey said yeah, one of the things about the matches in the pre-show is they do need to be like they are on a very strict time limit, and this one was. And the opening match was a lot longer than the rundown gave it for. So this one wasn't going to go on for too long, and it ended carrying forward the storyline perfectly. And as Gary said, no, he's basically out against people that aren't he sees as like proper wrestlers, and people who aren't going after real belts. In a way, his reaction is like Bret Hart's take on everybody in pro wrestling at the moment. He's constantly bitching about everyone, how wrestling's changed from grappling to high flying offense and lucha libre more than grapple submission, like it was back in the 80s and the 90s. So in a way, Dirty Dango is sort of playing off of that and bringing it to Impact Wrestling, which is really clever. So you don't forget how long Dango's actually been in wrestling. He's been in wrestling for over 20 years or so. So he does know what he's talking about, because the first time I saw him, he was on WWE as Fandango in that match with Chris Jericho. So where I saw it, he was just someone pushed against Jericho for the sake of putting Jericho on WrestleMania. Just pissed everybody off.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't think this one's over. We'll see what Dango does next. I'm actually excited to see Dango as more of a straight character and not such a goofball. I mean,
yeah,
we got enough comical little things happening in Impact Wrestling. We don't need
Yeah, we don't need a dictator of authority when we got Johnny Swinger.
Right. It's like the comedic stuff that we got from Dango up to this point has been fine, but it's like you can only do so much with it. So I'm fine with the straight character now.
They've stopped it at the right time. They've stopped it before it gets way too thin and way too irritating. So
right.
I think it's just smart writing by guys like Jimmy Jacobs and Scott D'Amore right there. Look, onto the main card. Sorry if you can hear the dog in the background.
No, it's okay. It's either your puppy's going or my wife is trashing her office. So it's one of the two.
Onto the main card. We kick off with Nick Aldis versus Kenny King with Sheldon Jean. Aldis catches King in midair and hits a vertical suplex. Jean tries to distract Aldis, but the veteran sees it coming and just knocks him off the ropes. The fight spills to the outside where King sends him face first into the steel steps. King soars over the top rope, taking Aldis out onto the floor. Aldis evades the springboard leg drop from Kenny King and follows up with a pump handle fall away slam, which was really impressive. Aldis is perched on top, but King sends him toppling onto the mat with an enziguri. Both men exchange shots in the middle of the ring, with King gaining the upper hand off of a power slam. Aldis connects with a top rope elbow drop, but Jean distracts the referee, and Aldis knocks him off the apron, allowing King to gain control with a spine buster for a count of two. Aldis hits the midair. Aldis hits the midair power bomb, and then locks in the Kingsley Cloverleaf to win the match by submission. This was really good opener. It just set up. Kenny King wasn't going to play this out cleanly, and it put Nick Aldis through his paces. Still, he came back in almost expecting an easy ride, and he didn't get it.
This one was fun. It was interesting. I tell you what I'm almost more interested in this. Not a knock on Nick Aldis by any means, but is the relationship between Kenny King and Sheldon Jean, and watching, Kenny mentor Sheldon Jean even through parts of this match. Like, okay, I'm going to go over here and do this. You go over here and do this, and we're going to get them. And sometimes it worked, and sometimes it didn't. So that was interesting. I like that psychology part of the match.
Yeah, I can see Kenny King doing some more stuff with Sheldon Jean. I can see them too. I can see Kenny King taking him under his wing. And we were talking about this last week, but Kenny King is one guy you do want working with you because he's a veteran of the business, and he's going to do a lot of good for Sheldon Jean in ring and backstage. Good to see you, Terrence. How are you?
Terrence Sullivan.
Yeah, good to see you. And Dolls, good to see you too. Sorry if I didn't give you guys a shout earlier. Yeah, and post-match, as he's heading up backstage, Nick Aldis turns his attention to the audience, where we saw a battle between Killer Kelly and Masha Slamovich from last week's Impact Wrestling continue into the crowd. They fight all the way into the ring, where Kelly chokes Slamovich with a steel chain until security comes in and breaks this up. I haven't watched last week's Impact Wrestling, but I did see the backstage brawl on YouTube, and it's just a classic fallout with no holds barred, no shits given for the knockouts. You go out there, you create as much mayhem as you want, and I thought this was really entertaining to see the fight continue on from Chicago all the way through to Canada. The Killer Kelly and Smash Slamovich just knocking the crap out of each other. Right? I can see these two go all night long. Yeah, I would love to see that dog collar match. Would be a great match if that could happen. Put them in a dog collar match or something like that.
I think we've had
street fights.
I'm pretty sure they just hang on. Let me check. I'm pretty sure they just announced that one.
If they've just announced it, then that's a bloody brilliant one. That is a brilliant choice because we've had street fights, we've had last knockout standing matches. Let's put the knockouts in something different. And if this is indeed official, which I'm pretty sure it is, that's fantastic. Backstage,
it's not on the site, but I think they put it on social media. So
yeah, it'll be updated on the website in about an hour or two.
Let me check the Twitter box real quick. Yep, there it is. It just popped up on my thing here. Yep. The battle between Masha and Kelly explodes in a dog collar match at Against All Odds Friday, June 9th. There we go. And of course, that's Oreo.
We have the Bison here.
What? Okay, I'll let you add him. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll try and get you on. Don't worry. I've got
all right, boys.
two windows open on my computer, so they're both really small spaces.
How's it going, boys?
It's good.
Managing. Yeah.
You're managing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just sipping some ouzo by the pool, boys.
Yeah.
Oh, what a rough life.
Look, see what I'm saying? Look what I'm talking about, mate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is what it's about. We've got the disco going on in the background, relaxing, drinking the ouzo, and just loving life right now. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I thought I'd come in. I made sure that Joe was holding everything together, and I knew the Mr. Bone. I knew the Bone Master would be here, helping us steady the ship for a fantastic show. And I got nothing to worry about. I got absolutely nothing to worry about. I'm happy that this is going really well, and I'm just going to keep drinking the ouzos.
Yeah,
that's it. I'm just going to keep drinking ouzos. Go on, go for it, buddy.
As you come online, they've just announced that we're going to have Killer Kelly versus Masha Samovich in a dog collar match at Against All Odds.
Sorry, who? Killer Kelly?
Yeah, and Masha Samovich. Against All Odds in a dog collar match.
Mate, that's what I'm talking about. That's going to be epic, mate. That's going to be epic. That's going to be up there with all the big matches. Definitely.
Yeah.
That sounds like that's going to be a great match. Great match. All for that. Now, boys, listen. I'm going to let you crack on because I only wanted to come on just to make sure that Joe was okay. And I know that he's going to do fine because he's got the Bone Daddy right next to him, making sure that he's going to be okay. And I know he's going to have a great show. It's going to be good. So, guys, I'm starting to get a little bit drunk.
Yeah,
so I think probably it's a good idea that I go and leave you guys to it. The ouzos, like I said, are flowing quite dramatically, and yeah, in a minute, I think I might just jump in this pool fully clothed. That's how I'm feeling right now.
Don't fall in and hurt yourself. Stay safe, man. But have a good time.
I think it's going to be great. We've had a fantastic time here in Cos. It's a fantastic. If you don't know too much about Cos, guys, it is a fantastic island. It is basically, it's just like the Caribbean, but in the Med. I mean, it's great. It's amazing. So if you ever get the opportunity to come to one of these Greek islands, I could not recommend this place enough. It's fantastic. So anyway, I'm going to go and sup some more ouzos, and I'll speak to you soon. Take care, guys. Much love.
We'll see you, Bison.
Ta-da, guys. Have a great show.
We'll see you.
Kick me out, though. Hang on. Leave. There you go. See you later, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Right.
He's completely smashed.
He's so drunk he didn't even know how to exit, man.
Yeah, that's something I do. He's copying me. I'm the one that's meant to fuck up backstage and everything. And
the Greek islands, man, that sounds like a time.
Oh, it's 2-1 for me. I think. Well, I would love to go just for the views. All the sun and the sea. Never mind the warm temperature day. That's just too much for me. Anyhow. Backstage, Gia Miller is interviewing Jordan Grace, who has a last chance against Diana Prazo in the Knockouts World Title match on the night. Jordan lays it out bluntly. She sees herself as the best and the one who should be carrying this entire Knockouts division. In fact, the entire company. And the opportunity of proving this by retiring Mickey James sadly never came to pass. And if she loses Diana Prazo again, she doesn't see herself as the face of the company. She doesn't see herself as the face of the Knockouts division. So it leaves it, and she even questioned, yeah, if she's not the best, then what is she? What is she doing here? And that was left a very, very chilling atmosphere for the upcoming Knockouts title match. It added that Anonymous, do you want Jordan Grace to lose now, or do you want Deonna Purrazzo to win now? Because there's that massive doubt on Jordan Grace and whether she going to be around for any longer and all that, this and that. Now it was a really, really good promo from Jordan Grace. One of the best she's ever given. It was just
right.
It sent chills down your spine. Just thinking that shit, this could be it.
And here's a bunch. I know a bunch of us was thinking, okay, so here's the time where if and when she does lose, she's gonna do like a big heel turn, and she's gonna become dark and brooding and pissed off because she didn't accomplish because she wanted to. And here to find out that even with I know I'm jumping ahead here a bit, and that we find out that she's is stepping away from Impact for a bit. That was even a bigger shock,
Yeah, but she spent the last 2 years focused on wrestling to build herself up to the bodybuilding competitions and stuff. So her time away from Impact Wrestling will be most likely there. I'm pretty sure she is still signed. It's just not been officially announced because she has been working these last few weeks just out of a paid contract as well. But but she has said that she wants to stay with Impact Wrestling many times, even earlier this year, before the news about her contract even expiring came. That she said that Impact Wrestling was the place she wants to stay. So
she's said that multiple times, which is always refreshing. It's like, yeah, there are other places, and yeah, I'm sure there are other places that could pay her more. But where is she gonna have the spotlight like she does in her brand like this, along with several other knockouts? It's. We're biased, but we say it's the best damn women's division on the planet.
I agree with Barry Monkey. A breakaway from wrestling will probably do us some good and give us some peace of mind, because she's been busting her ass, especially over the last year, going for that Knockouts title. She's been so impressive from day one, in my opinion. But the last few years, it's just been amazing.
And it opens the door for others to shine a little more, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
The division, the company's always evolving, but most of the time, it's always evolving for the better. So,
yeah, we then go on to what I must consider is one of the big highlights of the night. We go on to the Design versus Sami Callihan versus Rich Swann versus Jake Crist. Jake Crist makes his shocking return as the final member of Sami Callihan's team. Battle lines are drawn, and the match breaks down in the early going. Angels counters the Cactus Driver 97 from Callihan with an enziguri, then follows up with a dive to the outside of the ring. Crist is next to fly, but Khan swats him out of midair. Moments later, Sami Callihan gives Crist a boost as he takes out Khan with a springboard moonsault. Callihan powerbombs Angels over the top rope into everyone on the floor. Callihan, Crist, and Swann join forces in an attempt to take Khan off his feet. Khan fights them off, dumping Swann onto his own partners. Dina knocks Swann and Callihan off the apron, preventing Crist from making a tag. Crist creates separation and then tags Sami Callihan into the match. The pace quickens as Callihan dares Dina to hit him. They exchange fists in the middle of the ring. Before he and Crist can hit, they exchange fists in the middle of the ring. Before he and Jake Crist hit a double Death Valley driver on Angels and Dino, double team offense, incredible double team offense, classic OVE style, right there. And but Khan takes Crist and Callihan down with a double choke slam. Angel soars off the top rope at Callihan, but it's not enough to keep him down. Swann delivers a double handspring cutter to Khan and to Dina. Callihan spikes Dina with a Cactus Driver 97, but Angels halts his momentum. Swann rolls up Angels for the 1-2-3 and scores the victory. Before we go into the reaction on this day, I must admit, part of me thought that Jake Crist wasn't going to be the one coming, and I thought because I saw Bully Ray on like the meet and greet sections and all that, and the advertising and everything, I thought, what if it's not Jake Crist or Madman Fulton or even Jake something? What guys who we've been really wanting to come in? What if it was Bully Ray just brought in as a gun for hire? And I'm so glad I was proven wrong there, because Bully Ray not being in this match made this match, and when he does eventually show up, two of the biggest highlights of the entire night. And Jake Crist coming in was just justice done after the amount of work he's put through over the last couple of years. And after his appearance with Josh Alexander for the X Division title, everyone was calling for him then, and look at him now. He's just absolutely insane, incredible, and it's just so good to see him back.
Yeah, it is refreshing, because he's a completely different person. He's sobered up, which congrats to him on that. He's in the best shape of his life. He dropped a bunch of weight and trimmed up, and he looks amazing. And he's even got sponsors now. You go check out his gear in was that the Blacksmith
Apparel? Yeah.
He was one of the first ones, I believe.
Yeah.
And man, it's this could have went a bunch of different ways. There's people in the chat wondering if he's going to be sticking around for good. We're going to have to wait and see. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure he'll be there for the Ohio tapings as well. But whether he's around after that, I'm not entirely sure. I'm hoping he will be. But I know he's got a match with Matt Cardona coming up soon as well for a title shot there. And then he's got a title shot against Steve Mackin at Wrestling Revolver too. So he's got a huge week ahead of him. But
he's killing it. Killing it.
The longer he sticks around Impact Wrestling, then the happier I'm going to be, because it was so refreshing to see him. And and honestly, it brings a spark back to Callahan, honestly. And not that Callahan is ever lacking in charisma or anything, but Callahan also is, as good as he works as a solo guy on his own, he's also better when he has guys like Swan and or Jake Crist around him. Yeah,
because they can all feed off each other. It can add maybe a tiny bit of comedy, or just an added dose of charisma to whatever they're doing. It's just big picture wise, it's all good. It's just better all around.
Yeah, Sammy said it himself. He does prefer to work with others, or as many people as possible. He's very, very unself-centered. He'd rather put other people over than focus on himself. And Gary's saying he thought it would have been Eric Young. Honestly, Eric Young did cross my mind too, but when Dina did kill him, but we've seen James Mitchell come back from the dead, so I'm pretty sure Eric Young could too.
I'm not sure. We could have Eric Young come back at some point. Apparently, he's still working for the WWE.
Yeah,
Eric knows he always has a home in Impact Wrestling. How he would come back, though, would have to be something out of this world, I think. Almost like kind of how Courtney came back, or I should say Courtney showed up instead of Rosemary.
Yeah, or
it'd have to be something like that, Yeah,
Taya Valkyrie, she got arrested and then she just suddenly comes back. It'll be something like that, they just get written off and then just come back like nothing happened. But it's still, everyone still remembers. And how Taya Valkyrie's going to come back now if she ever does. She's stuck in the undead realm because of her. We've got Courtney Rush, basically. It's her.
Right. So that's always something that could be underlying, and I'm sure she'll come back someday, down the road. Who knows? It's I've always said this about Taya. It's like, hey, go get paid. seriously, go get paid. I don't care if it's the WWE. I don't care if it's AEW. Go get paid. Make your money, and then you can come back. She'll always have a comfort zone to come back to whenever she's ready. So
Yeah. Or he could also come back. Eric Young could also come back as Super Eric. Yeah.
he'll
Yeah.
always be Super EY.
Yeah. Yeah, like how Susie came back as Sue Young came back as Susie and Susan, and I really did think that Sue Young would be coming back as a potential twist in this plotline with the Coven, as well. So that surprised me. And then I'm not surprised if we don't see Susie come back with the Coven as an extra cast off from the ended realm now that Courtney Rush is back, because James Mitchell always has got something else up his sleeve.
Yeah.
But backstage and in range, Santino Marella vents his frustration at Gia Miller. He is out for revenge on Dirty Dango. And we then go on to Trinity versus Giselle Shaw. Trinity makes a Impact Plus debut tonight. Actually gains the early advantage with a running leg drop. Shaw retreats to the outside to regain her composure. Trinity catapults Shaw out of the corner as Shaw takes another breather. Trinity brings the fight outside where she leaps over Savannah Evans. That was really, really impressive to get at Giselle Shaw while
oh yeah.
Jay Vidal distracts the referee, allowing Savannah Evans to pull Trinity off the apron. Shaw slapped her across the face and plants Trinity onto the mat. Shaw hits a running corkscrew clothesline for the count of 2. Trinity builds momentum with a backbreaker. That was a really, really impressive backbreaker too. really hurt watching. And then follows up with a flurry of strikes. Trinity spikes Shaw head first with the head scissors for the count of 2. Trinity hits a split-legged moonsault, but Shaw kicks out. Trinity bounces back with a draping DDT. Sorry. Shaw bounces back with a draping DDT. That was really nasty. And Trinity barely kicks out before the referee's count of 3. Trinity then takes Vidal and Evans out and locks the Starstruck in on Giselle Shaw to win by submission. This was really, really impressive. I was always left with a very, very negative outlook on Trinity because of what I saw her at WWE when last time I saw her was as Naomi, not in tag team wrestling with Mercedes Moné, Sasha Banks. So I didn't see her go through the better part of her career. So I was always left with her being at this like +1. I was impressed with her debut match she had in a couple of weeks ago, but this match just proved guys like me wrong. He was still doubting whether or not Trinity can bring it to the table. She can bring it to the table. This match was really, really impressive, and it was a great way to bring Giselle Shaw back into wrestling too, after she'd been away for a couple of weeks. So this match was feel good all around, unless you were a fan of Giselle Shaw and wanted her to win. But it just set the it was just a great way to welcome her back into wrestling. It was good.
That was very good. Yeah, it's both shined in this match.
Yeah.
I love the fact that Giselle Shaw's crew's at ringside and they're always doing devious stuff, trying to, get their way. And not to be rude to Trinity, but something just popped in my head, and I was trying to remind myself to bring this up, and I'm sorry I didn't earlier. In the design versus we'll just call it OVE to shorten it up. There's a part in that match, I believe it's towards the beginning when it all went to the outside, everyone's brawling.
Yeah.
Swan is on the apron, runs and tries to do like a somersault into Khan. Khan stood there. Rich Swan bounced off.
Yeah, he bounced
off Khan, went back towards the apron, and Rich Swan bashed his face off the apron, and that's how he got busted open and like disappeared for like 5 minutes. I was like, oh my God.
It's like Con's like a big bumper in a pinball machine. You just jump into him, you're going to bounce off and fly all over the place.
Oh, totally.
The rundown on the website doesn't give you guys enough detail. You have to watch this match to really take in exactly how good it was. It was
right, and that's
fascinating.
and that's another reason why I brought it up. But I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God,
There was so much detail. I watched it 3 times, and there was so much detail missed out on.
If you blinked, you missed it, but that was a lot
Yeah.
of fun. But okay, so like back to Trinity, and I tell you, it not only is her athleticism and her charisma in the ring fun to watch, but the fact that she's been finishing off some of these matches with making her opponents tap out through submissions. It was like, wow, and that throws a whole new dimension of badassery on her. Is that a word, badassery? Well, it is.
No, it is now. Yeah, I'm glad that they're actually that she's showing that she has the technical skill rather than just using the rear view as her finishing move. That was
right.
I thought it was a bit demeaning that WWE didn't seem to let her do anything else apart from use that as her move, and even then she wouldn't win the match. And eventually by the time
as fun as it is, she's so much more than that.
Yeah, I could see early on that but then like a lot of women in WWE, there's a lot of people I could see where I had a lot more to give, but they only picked 1 or 2 favorites, Charlotte Flair, and then everybody else is brushed aside. But no, and then people are wondering why Mercedes Moné and why Trinity and why several other women got pissed off over the years and then lashed out at Vince McMahon, and then they go slag him off when they go elsewhere.
So this is funny right here. Mayor's saying Trinity had a great night on Friday night. Her husband on Saturday, not so much. Bro, what are you talking about? Her husband super kicked the tribal chief. I don't know. It doesn't get much better than that. I don't know what you're talking about, dude.
Well,
I mean, the bloodline may be imploding, big picture wise, but the fact that they super kicked Solo Sikoa, and then super kicked the tribal chief into next week's SmackDown is just, I'm sorry, I think that's phenomenal. So to each their own, but whatever.
Yeah, I think anyone knocking the shit out of Roman Reigns gets a brownie point from me and a thumbs up. Well done, mate. Let's just hope that goes into a title victory sometime.
Yeah.
But yeah, right. I know that's like intergalactic thinking, and it's never going to happen. But still, they've got this new world championship now to keep everybody away from Roman Reigns, which is bloody ridiculous.
Yeah, everyone's got their different opinions on it. I'm just like, hey, at least I look at it this way. At least there's more of a chance for others to, get some shine. Seth deserves it. So
yeah,
I'm happy with it.
It was Seth and AJ Styles were guys I thought were going to get it. So one of the 2 had to win it. So anyhow, backstage, Gia Miller interviews Subculture, who will be challenging Ace and Bailey, the ABC, for the Impact Wrestling World Tag Team Championship in their first match on Impact Wrestling. Brian Myers and the Good Hands interrupt them and claim to be the next guys in line for the tag team titles, and Subculture have jumped the queue. But Subculture agree to give them a match should they win against the ABC. This is, I love the back and forth between these 2 teams was just a good fun. And again, Brian Myers his charisma is rubbing off on the Good Hands already so much. You could tell, they had a good laugh, poking the fun out of each other. And it was just so good. And you can see Brian Myers with a huge smirk on his face. Like, my boys are doing good. Yeah, my boys are doing good. Courtney, there's me here and Jabron's filling in for the Bison while he's away in Greece. So good to see you and hope you're well. Yeah, and Gary, I agree. I'm hoping we do see this come to light too. Tasha and Trinity would be an interesting tag team. I think that is a must-have if Trinity's sticking around.
Trinity and Tasha, and I want to see like eventually, like I know like the dog collar match just got announced, but in the long run, I think Killer Kelly and Masha are going to be an absolutely devastating team together.
Well, Killer Kelly said she has got a perfect playmate, and right there, and even good friends have a little fight, or in this case, they beat the shit out of each other with a chain, and now a dog collar, but still, they don't always get along to start off with. They have to knock each other's senses into a bloody mess once or twice before they can get along. Anyhow, we go on to the Impact Wrestling Tag Team title match. We have Ace and Bay, the ABC, versus Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster of Subculture with Danny Luna. ABC hit click boon on Webster, a leg drop and moonsault combo. Bay soars over the top rope outside with a top con helo to Webster. Ace drives Webster face first into the canvas for a 2 count. ABC isolate Webster as they cut off the ring to prevent him from making a tag. Mark Andrews quickly quickens the pace as he hits a double Pele on Ace and Bay. Andrews gets 2 for 1 as he spikes Ace and Bay with a double DDT. Andrews flies to the floor with a springboard moonsault to Bay. Back in the ring, Andrews hits Code Red on Austin to turn the match around. Webster makes it the blind tag, and Andrews assists him with the Falcon Arts Waste Austin. Austin avoids a shooting star press from Mark Andrews, then takes him off his feet with a springboard missile dropkick, one of the best flying dropkicks in the pro wrestling, alongside Chris Sabin. Waste Austin, that is incredible. Bay hits Webster with a swinging net breaker, but Andrews breaks up the pin attempt. Webster soars off the top of the ring post, colliding with ABC on the floor. Andrews hits the stun dog millionaire, followed by a top rope senton from Webster, but Bay kicks out after 2. Webster inadvertently knees his own partner, allowing Bay to capitalize with a double poison rana on both opponents. ABC hit the art of finesse, followed by the fold to pin Andrews and remain World Tag Team Champions. In a post-match interview, Ace and Bay gave high praise to Subculture for pushing them to their limits in this match, and they've called out any team from any company to try and take the belts off of them. This match was one of the best of the night as well, and I could not agree more. The Motor City Machine Guns sort of like set the pace for everybody else to try and push Ace and Bay to, if you want to even have a chance of getting the belts off of them. And Subculture more than delivered. This match was incredible. I was left completely speechless by the end of it. I left a message for Chris Bay and Ace Austin on Twitter. Got a thumbs up from Chris Bay, just saying that this was incredible. You guys left me absolutely spellbound.
Kill Steel in the chat here says sign Subculture. Well, I know they're sticking around through the tapings. Beyond that, I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I hope they are sticking longer.
Yeah,
I really do. I would love to, if they've Impact could sign them and Jake Christ and Danny Luna. Obviously, she is part of Subculture for even for just 6 months. Keep them up until the end, coming up the end of the year. That would be amazing. But Subculture are a team that I would be really annoyed if they let go without even trying to get them to stick around a bit longer.
Well, yeah, I was going to ask you, how excited were you to see them? Because I know they're a UK presence that's really been growing in popularity.
Yeah, Mark Andrews was a favorite of mine when I started watching Impact too. So I was really excited to see him back. And like a lot of people, I'm pretty glad to see the skateboarder's gone. But I never really got to hear him speak because he was mostly teamed with DJZ or guys like that. So he was a good exhibition guy who didn't say a lot. But to see him in the ring as he with a bad attitude was amazing. And Mark Webster is incredible. In fact, he'll be at Wrestle Carnival in July when I go down to Coventry. So I'll be seeing him live. Which
nice.
I'm really looking forward to that. But this is my first time seeing him in a match. He was really, really impressive. And this
Very
again,
cool.
again, the whole details on the website don't give enough detail on the match itself. You have to go and check this one out to really take it in and appreciate how good this one was. It was a fantastic match. And we then go on to the X Division title match with Trey Miguel and Chris Sabin. There's a bit of bad blood between Sabin and Miguel, obviously, already. But Miguel retreats to the outside, thinking he's outsmarted Chris Sabin. Sabin follows him up and hits a running kick from the apron. Sabin ties up Miguel in a trio row and delivers a running hesitation drop kick. Miguel uses his quickness and connects with a kick to gain control. Miguel hits a back suplex on the hardest part of the ring, followed by a running knee strike to the chest. Trey Miguel locks in the guillotine choke, but Sabin makes it to the bottom rope to manage to escape. Sabin hits a quick DDT out of the corner to create some much-needed separation. Sabin hits Sabin hits a strong missile dropkick followed by a modified flatliner for a counter two. Miguel counters a cradle shock, and both men are down. Miguel spikes him with a very, very sick brainbuster, but it's still not enough to keep Sabin down. And Chris Sabin managed to evade the Meteor attempt. He then targets the legs of Trey Miguel. Sabin locks in the sharpshooter, but Miguel breaks the hold, and Miguel successfully hits the Meteora for a very close near fall. Miguel leaps through the ropes and hits Tornado DDT onto the floor. Miguel crashes and burns after another Meteora attempt, and Sabin hits a Canadian Destroyer, but Trey Miguel rakes the eyes of Chris Sabin as he tries to go for another cradle shock. With Sabin blinded, Miguel drop kicks the. While Sabin is blinded, he accidentally takes up the referee, thinking it was Trey Miguel, and Miguel uses this to grab a can of spray paint and blast Sabin in the eyes to capitalize on, then take out Sabin and get the 1-2-3. It ended a lot. I expected some foul play, but I did not expect Sabin to accidentally take the referee out. That was a great way to start up the finish, because Trey Miguel wasn't going to win this fairly, and this match was start to finish a textbook instant classic. Trey Miguel is set to be one of the guys to redefine the X Division, and especially for his generation of wrestlers, and he is doing that. And Chris Sabin once again put up a hell of a fight and pushed him to his limits and beyond his patience of, okay, I'm going to do this right. I'm going to do it fairly, or as fairly as Miguel likes to think is fairly. But yeah, I agree, Bonkers. Cheating scum. Yeah. But, we'll see if Sabin gets his comeuppance against all odds, because they do have a rematch coming. But it was a fantastic match.
Oh yeah.
But then we wouldn't expect anything less from anyone in the X Division right now. But Miguel never disappoints. Sabin never disappoints. It's just a match that was going to be 5-star on paper, 5-star on the ring, 5-star on the night.
Oh yeah, it's watching this heel run of Trey Miguel is it's refreshing. It's fun. He's a little unpredictable, which is not a bad thing. So yeah, I'm digging this. I'm really digging this. Yeah.
Okay, we've got the 6-man number 1 contendership match now. With Moose versus Eddie Edwards versus Jonathan Gresham versus Yuya Uemura versus Alex Shelley versus Frankie Kazarian. Excuse me. The bell rings and Kazarian immediately goes after Eddie Edwards. Shelley gives everyone a dragon screw leg whip and then locks in a double Boston crab on Kazarian and Uemura. Kazarian directs Eddie Edwards towards the ropes. As he takes out Moose with a dive, Edwards drops Gresham with a modified back suplex before he resumes his fight with Kazarian. Moments later, Kazarian hits a springboard leg drop on Eddie Edwards. Kazarian hits a backstabber on Jonathan Gresham, which leads to a flatliner from Alex Shelley, driving him into the turnbuckle. Moose plants Edwards with the Nuranagi. and then a thunderous powerbomb to Uemura. Moose gives Kazarian a powerbomb of his own, and then one for aggression as well. Uemura avoids a spear from Moose, allowing him to capitalize with a bulldog for the count of 2. Moose almost puts Uemura away with a sky high, but Shelley breaks up the pin. Kazarian looks to lock him a chicken wing on Uemura, but Eddie Edwards breaks that up with the Boston Knee Party. Shelley then hits the shell shock on Uemura and pins him to become number 1 contender. This match was textbook gold from start to finish as well. Again, the notes on the website don't give you enough without spoiling too much of the match as well. So I suppose there's a reason for it. It just gives you even those snippets don't give you enough. Don't paint a decent amount of picture to show you just how good this match really was.
Oh, yeah.
I was on edge of the seat from start to finish. I knew that I saw I'm still going off of the promo from Eddie Edwards and Frankie Kazarian the week before in that 6-man tag team match. You know, Eddie Edwards is like, yes, you're the veteran. You were the veteran of Impact Wrestling, but I'm the veteran now. You know, and so he was like prime target for almost everybody. And I can still see this bad blood between Kazarian and Eddie Edwards spilling over sometime, especially for Slammiversary. There's got to be some big payoff for them.
Well, yeah, it was from that the tag match before.
From
like a week or two ago. Like, oh, go ahead and lead us. You know, go ahead. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I'm sure you'll do better than you did with Donald Moore. That's like, that was low. Even for Frankie Kazarian, that was low. But Alec, and for me, it was Kazarian and Alex Shelley to get the win, and I'm glad it was Alex Shelley because it was the one that I had least expected, given that Kazarian was getting all the hype and all the mention. Even on the highlights, you think Alex Shelley didn't win this match. You weren't paying attention to everything else. But Kazarian was like the big talking point and the big focus all week and on the big build-up. So Alex Shelley to get the win and to go on to face Steve Macklin against All Odds is going to be huge. It's just going to be heartbreaking to know that this might be his second world title match and nothing comes from it.
Yeah, I was surprised, and nothing against Shelley, but it feels like we just saw Shelley versus Josh Alexander.
Yeah.
Now, granted, you're going to get a completely different match in a sense because Macklin and Josh Alexander are different, and not just the heel face, thing. You got different, just the overall atmospheres of the match, going into it. So, but it's not going to be, and that's not going to knock on the match. I'm just a little surprised. I was imagining someone else would get the win, but in a match like this, I mean, you had 6 completely different guys going into this, so this really could have went any way. I really, not that I don't like these guys, but I really didn't care too much. I kind of skipped over this one. But hey,
there was a lot of hard hitting action in this match. It really does keep you on the edge of your seat. If you can get engaged in this match,
yeah,
it will keep you glued.
I'll go back and watch this sometime. But nonetheless, I am very excited for Shelley versus Macklin. I know it's going to be a fun match, and Shelley is one of those guys that can be considered one of the greatest in the history of TNA and Impact Wrestling to not get that big belt, the belt. So we'll see what happens, but nonetheless, yeah.
Okay, and backstage, Gia Miller interviews Trey Miguel, and as Trey starts to boast about how he won and how he outsmarted Chris Sabin, he's attacked by Sabin, who is pretty pissed off that Trey Miguel cheated to retain his title earlier in the night. We then go on to the Knockouts title match with Deonna Purrazzo and Jordynne Grace. And of course, if Jordynne Grace loses this match, she can no longer challenge for the title as long as Deonna Purrazzo is champion. So this starts off pretty brutal. Grace pummels Deonna Purrazzo with a series of fists in the early going. Deonna Purrazzo snaps the neck of Jordynne Grace as she hangs her up with a modified neck breaker. Purrazzo launches herself off the apron with a senton onto the floor. Grace uses her brute strength to launch Purrazzo into the top rope. Grace hits a German suplex into a bridge for a 2. Grace clotheslines Gianna Prazo over the top rope and both come crashing to the outside of the ring. Back inside, Gianna Prazo fights back with a Russian leg sweep and then locks in the Fujiwara armbar. Grace quickly breaks free and gets caught in more offense by Gianna Prazo. Grace hits a spinning set out powerbomb for the counter 2. Incredible, like sort of like a modified version of the Blue Thunder Bomb. It was so impressive. Prazo spikes Grace with the power driver, which was incredible too. I've never seen that move that pulled off before. And Gianna Prazo even say, what should I call this move, you guys? This was just insane. I think that could be a regular appearance on their arsenal now. It was so good. But that power driver wasn't enough for the counter 3, and Grace connects with the Juggernaut jackhammer and gets a near fall of her own. Prazo almost puts her away with the Queen's Gambit in the center of the ring, but both women, the pin attempt fails. Both women are down following instinct right hands, and eventually Prazo gets Grace onto the top rope and hits her with a Super Queen's Gambit to retain the title and retain the Knockouts World title. Personal feedback on this match. Once again, these two women have shown the world not only just exactly how damn good they are, but how fantastic Impact Wrestling storytelling is. It's 4-0 to Gianna Prazo, but there's still no doubt. Oh Christ!
We understand now why Jordan was. Like I said, I thought this was going to turn into like a heel turn at the end.
Yeah.
But then hearing the news and seeing the reaction from Jordan as she's leaving the arena, and she's kind of holding her head, holding her neck or whatever, and she's emotional. She's crying on her way up the ramp. It now makes complete sense because this is her exit. Yeah. It was a great match, though. I mean, these two never disappoint.
Yeah, it's we had 4-0 to Gianna Prazo, but there was no chance. But there's still a chance we could see this match that we didn't get at Rebellion with Jordan Grace and Mickie James. The irony being that Gianna Prazo would have to lose to Mickie James, would have to lose 4-0 to Mickie James. It's first if we want to see this match at Rebellion that we didn't get, and I'm only speculating that because we never got confirmation that Mickie James is officially done with Impact Wrestling, and it's something that everyone's been wanting to see since Multiverse United. In a post-match interview, Gianna Prazo gives her opinion on Jordan Grace. There's no disrespect shown towards her at all, but there's also no remorse that she is now unable to challenge her for round 5 anytime soon. She then calls out Trinity Fatu, who's made it clear that she has her sights set on the Knockout Championship.
Oh, can't wait for that.
That's going to be good.
And they did it right this time.
Yeah.
They didn't just have Trinity walk in the door, boom, title match. She's gonna, by the time she gets to the title, she's gonna at least have a handful of matches under her belt before she gets to so it's they're doing it right. And I've been what's that word? Oh yeah, I've been critical of that before, because Impact has had a track record of new person comes in, boom, put the title on him. It's like
yeah, and it's like, oh, for fuck's sake, guys, no, not again.
Yeah, like because sometimes it works in order to, depending on who it is in the situation. Sometimes it works, like I didn't like it when they did that with, perfect example was Austin Aries. I love Austin Aries, but when they did that to Austin Aries, he literally walked in, didn't even have his gear on, and was given the belt. It was like, guys, come on, man. He deserves better than that. He's better. He's just
thank you very much to Punk Trace. Thank you. I know I've been very light on the sound bites and everything, so I do apologize, guys, but I'm like juggling 3 things at once with two very small windows open, so it's really hard to multitask. So
No, you're doing great, Joe. You're doing great.
yeah. Backstage, we got the promo for Against the Odds, which is live June the 9th, at Ohio Expo Center in Columbus, Ohio. And that's only like 2 weeks away. I'm looking forward to that. Well, a week away now from this week. So that's just going to be insane how soon it's coming around the corner. And they're already building up a huge night now. We've got 4 matches announced. We got the 8. I mentioned them at the start already, and we got the dog collar match with Killer Kelly and Master Somovich too.
Right.
But we go on to the main event now, the no DQ match with Steve Macklin and PCO. This was incredible. This was without a doubt one of the best matches of the entire Access TV era. I must say that now. PCO helps his body towards Macklin as they both crash over the top rope. PCO launches himself through the air, colliding with Macklin onto the floor. Macklin hits a vertical suplex as the lower back of PCO is driven into the steel steps. Macklin hits him over the head with a cooking tray. Macklin goes for the Scud missile, but PCO cuts him off with a cooking tray in midair. Macklin is busted open badly as PCO smashes him with the trash can.
Understatement of the show.
Yeah.
Busted open badly. Nah, man, he lost I'm guessing 3 pints during this damn match. It was ridiculous.
That was insane. And the amount of and that was just for the trash can. PCO is about to use a staple gun when Macklin delivers a low blow and cracks him in the back with a steel chair. Macklin jumps off the steel rope with a chair in hand, driving it into the face and chest of PCO. PCO is caught in the crosshairs, but it's not enough to keep him down. Macklin then staples PCO's mouth shut, which was horrible to watch.
My God.
I
was when he did that, I was like,
No.
oh, that's kind of a nice effect, but
yeah,
certainly didn't actually have any staples in there, because even when PCO was going like this and he had his lips together, you couldn't. It was hard. Maybe you could see him. I couldn't see the staples, but then all of a sudden, he goes down below the apron, grabs a pliers, and starts they zoomed in on it, visibly pulling the staples out of his mouth. I was like, what?
Yeah.
What? No way. What is happening? And and the best part of it was commentary reacting to all the carnage. Was just Macklin was just not Macklin. Hannafin was just losing his mind.
Okay, let's just try and find where I am. PCO rips the staples out with a pair of pliers.
There we go, yeah.
That was so hard to watch.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a fan of blood and gore, but anything like that, flesh tearing and spikes going through really does make me cringe. And this was just added that extra emphasis on this match is going to be damn good to watch, guys. So, Macklin's crimson mask. Macklin's face is a crimson mask as he clobbers PCO with a sledgehammer. Macklin then lays a concrete brick over the back of PCO and assaults him with the sledgehammer once again. PCO is not human. He sits up and brings the fight back to Macklin. Macklin is hit with a long blow out of the corner, followed by a leg drop to the back of the neck. PCO connects to the deanimator on the apron, but Macklin comes back in with a steel chair. Macklin pulls him back first into the hardest part of the ring, and then Macklin then hits the KIA onto the hardest part of the ring. Macklin then hits the second KIA onto a pair of cinder blocks to win the match and retain the world championship. This match was just, like I've said it at the start, it was one of the best matches of the Access era, if not the best. It was one of the most brutal matches I've seen since Josh Alexander and Bully Ray at Hard to Kill, or going back as far as Sammy Callahan and Pentagon Jr. and Slammiversary when the mask versus hair. It was just insane how brutal this match was. It was just incredible.
It was a horror story. It really was. It was just absolutely. It was one of the most. I mean, we've seen a lot of blood and violence and different, and Callahan, and he's using different things like Legos and glass and tacks and whatever.
I've never seen
was
anyone
a whole
bleed.
new.
Yeah, the last time I saw someone bleed like that was like Macklin did, was James Storm when he took on EC3 in a leather strap match. That was the last time I saw anyone bleed as badly as that, or James Storm versus Bobby Roode. No guys who bleed really badly, like in a good way. Guys like Ric Flair, James Storm, Shawn Michaels, if you want to go to another company, and Steve Macklin just is now up there with them, and guys who can bleed and make it look fucking beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, I was my wife Tracy was doing some other stuff, and I said I paused it right before the point where Coach got attacked, and he's standing in the ring, and all you see is what looks like the end of a crime scene in the ring. There is blood everywhere. It's not like, oh, there's a little here, there's a little there. No, there was blood everywhere in the ring.
Yeah, some of them. Everyone forgets that some of it was from Jake Crist and some of it was from Rich Swann, because there was that much of it just from PCO and Macklin. After the match, Macklin demands that Impact Wrestling president Scott D'Amore comes in and straps the belt around his waist like he did promise to. As Scott D'Amore makes his way into the ring, Macklin refuses to shake his hand. Out of nowhere, Bully Ray blindsides D'Amore, chokes him out with his chain, and Macklin stands there watching. Bully Ray tells Macklin to get the table, and he does it. Matthew Rainbow leaves commentary to try and stop him, but Bully Ray douses him in lighter fluid.
Oh my god! Yeah, covers Raywald in lighter fluid. I was like, what?
But PCO gets back in the ring, but Macklin continues the assault and takes out PCO. The Motor City Machine Guns would come to the ring, but they're taken out by Macklin and Bully Ray. Bully Ray sets the table on fire, lights it up, lifts up Scott D'Amore for a powerbomb and sends him through to the table. Sends him through the table. Bully Ray vows to take D'Amore down with the whole company as he stands tall with Macklin, and that brings the pay-per-view to a conclusion. This was a huge surprise. I thought if Bully Ray was going to come back, it would be after this match, to go for Steve Macklin as act as another stuffing block for Nick Aldis, basically. Have him go for Steve Macklin and then have him face this Nick Aldis to keep Aldis away till Slammiversary. And that's how I thought it would go if Bully Ray wasn't going to come back and be on Team Callahan. So when he came back the way and did this, that added so much more to a match I had such high expectations on already, as did with Callahan's match with Jake Crist coming back. I had such high expectations on both of those matches, and those two events happening just put them to the top of the card for me. And it's very, very hard to split them to Ace and Bay's match and the Knockouts match, the Knockouts World Title match. All those four matches, squashed them together in a number one spot for me, because it was this was the best special and pay-per-view they've done since Access TV was officially declared as Impact's new home. And any other final thoughts on it before we go on to the rest of the stuff?
Oh, just it's going to be the fallout from this is going to be nuts. It's going to be interesting because, I mean, you've got Shelley going after Macklin in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Now you got the whole mix of Bully working with him. Are they going to separate them on TV? Were they just working together tonight? Because then you got to figure, okay, Bully's back. Someone's got to go against Bully. I think we can count out Dreamer at this point. I don't think we're going to get something from that this this soon. It may be down the road again. What's going to level out all this chaos? Because you gotta be careful how you do this. You gotta keep it. It doesn't have.
Yeah.
I mean, it's wrestling. It doesn't have to be like a perfectly scripted thing, but it's like, man, they lumped in a lot of stuff at the end of this, and it was a beautiful train wreck. But it was like, oh my god.
Yeah, I could even see Sami Callihan take on Bully Ray and be like the man to try and restore order. Of all people, have the Death Machine restore order to Impact Wrestling, and he spent a majority of the time tearing the company apart with OVE and tearing it apart when Tessa Blanchard was on the hunt for the world title. That would be like bittersweet irony that management goes to Callihan of all people to try and restore order.
Yeah.
Because
for those of you asking about how he got busted open, here Mayor says it was Macklin was busted open the hard way. Yeah, and it's
yeah. You look at some of the pictures and that Matt Macklin taken that they have on like Instagram, and that the cut on Macklin's head is like there to there, right across the top of his head. It wasn't a cut with a blade or anything. He got busted open by a savage hit.
Ugly. It was ugly. Yeah. And knowing how powerful PCO is, and if you looked at that pan at the end after he hit that, the pan was basically folded in half over his head. It's like, and then he hit him with a trash can, and this left a blood stain on the trash can. This big,
it was like a fake, like putting your face in snow and then taking it back out and measuring the perfect.
It's like, look, let's do a little more here. It's not quite enough. We're gonna hit you in the head with a trash can. Okay, that's enough. All right, there we go. Now we really got it cooking in. My God.
Yeah. Other stuff that's come out this week. Then we go on from the finish up with the pay-per-view, and we've got main event Monday this week. We had Eddie Edwards versus PCO in a street fight match from the October 2020 tapings at Las Vegas. I did catch up with this match, and I'll tell you guys, this is another one that you guys should check out if you're a fan of violence. And I'm pretty sure, as you can tell, I from my reaction to this main event. Oh yes, please! This match was another good solid street fight from Eddie Edwards and PCO. Eddie Edwards is a street fight veteran now, and PCO is a deathmatch veteran. This was a good match from October. Digital media exclusive match is Jason Hotch versus Tyler Turver. I've not seen this match yet, so I can't give you any feedback on that, but I am going to be checking it out tonight. The match for BTI is Brian Myers versus Tyler Turver. And again, he's he's an indie star up at Canada, local guy. It's all I know about him. So he's making a couple of appearances at Impact Wrestling for the rest of the tapings in Canada. And the other things for the other matches scheduled for the card are Bully Ray will be kicking off the show. Then we have Danny Luna of Subculture versus Jody Threat, Savannah Evans versus Trinity Fatu, Crazy Stephen Black Torres versus Sami Callihan and Jake Christ, and Eddie Edwards versus Yuya Uemura. So we've got a pretty interesting fallout building up, and there was other matches announced, but they'll be on next week's Impact Wrestling, obviously.
I was gonna ask you about Luna. Have you seen her as a wrestler? How is she?
I've not. I've not seen her as a wrestler. The first time I saw her was when she gave her comments back to Jason Hotch and shot them down for being such smartasses.
Right.
So, but I'm looking forward to seeing this. I'm just hoping that Jody Threat doesn't destroy her.
Yeah.
Too quickly, because we know Jody Threat's probably going to get the win. But I'm
still excited to see someone fresh in the ring. So hey, it is what it is. Yeah. Courtney is very excited for Luna's match. All right.
Yes, and that was just something I did actually mention in the description, and I thought to make notes of, is that Impact Wrestling crosses the 1000th episode in September, which was the big talking point that has all the critics shutting up, which I thought to write down in the damn notes I put out for everybody. So
that's all right.
Yeah. So yes, 1,000 episodes of Impact Wrestling this September. The night after we have No Surrender is their 1,000 night of Impact Wrestling, which is incredible. Given that everyone thought, first of all, they thought they wouldn't last 20 years or 10 years. You know, they thought TNA would be dead.
Yeah.
It would be ages ago. And now they're on to 1,000 episodes. I cannot wait to see what they do this September. You know, and then we got Bound for Glory as well. So that's going to be huge. And that's going to give huge implementations for what's coming at Bound for Glory, I'm sure. So, hell of a banger to come up with at the end of the year.
Yeah. Mayor here in the chat saying, J-Bone, your opinion on the 8-4-1 match at Against All Odds. I'm just seeing this. I'm like, so.
8-for-1 is, I've got that. I've mentioned that at the start, but I've also made it.
Okay, here I got it right here. It said it is called the 8-for-1 match, and the rules are as follows. The match begins as an 8-man tag. So you got 4 versus 4. The winning team then competes against one another in a fatal 4-way match, with the winner of that advancing to the main event of Slammiversary.
Yeah,
so
it's an 8-man tag match. First,
Yeah.
the guys involved. If I can bring this up for it. Bully Ray, Jonathan Gresham, Heath, and Nick Aldis will be teaming up against Moose, Mike Bailey, Rich Swann, and PCO. There's no reason for them teaming up other than it's just guys who hate each other, and guys who hate each other have to work together to go through to the next stage of this match.
Yeah.
So the winning team of the 8-man tag match then goes and faces off against each other in a 4-way match, and the winner of that then goes on to face the world champion at Slammiversary. I think it's a really, really great idea. It's another first-time match, first-time thing by Impact Wrestling that hasn't been done much, if at all, by any other company. And I'm pretty sure once this is done, I'm pretty sure in a couple of weeks' time or a month's time, you'll see this come up on AEW or WWE, especially by WrestleMania next year or the first big or whatever the next pay-per-view is for AEW after Bound for Glory is for Impact Wrestling.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. You don't see too many first offs anymore. So it is kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing that insanely special about it, but hey,
it's new and
whatever. I'm here for it.
The website even said, this is something new. It's something that Impact Wrestling specializes in. It's something new for everybody.
And you can do this with a 3-on-3, a 4-on-4, a 5-on-5. You can do anything like that. So I mean, there are options out there, and you can call it a one-off or first ever, whatever. It's
yeah.
Okay,
so with that out of the way, that rounds everything up for everybody. So that's all we have time for today, guys. Don't forget to tune into the TNI Impact review tomorrow night after Impact Wrestling is aired on TV, live on YouTube and Twitch directly after it's aired on Access TV or Fight Network in Canada, Impact Plus, and YouTube Insiders, and of course on DAZN. Don't forget to head over to the TNI Patreon for exclusive content and where when you sign up. And of course, join our Discord channel where we pretty much talk about anything that's Impact Wrestling related, sports related, moves, as well as movies, sports, and all sorts. All the TNI shows are available for you to listen on the Go Fans via SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, and wherever you listen to your favorite shows. You can find me on the socials at Joeker Empty Space no, I just giving you the wrong thing. You can find me at Joeker.
You were on a roll. You were on a roll, Joker.
Yes, you can find me at Joeker Empty Space on Twitter, not at Twitter, on Twitter, and or you can look for hashtag Empty Space, hashtag Into the Void, or if you want to take your taste buds and your sense of humor, look for hashtag Daily Giggle on Facebook and on Twitter. Approach with an open mind. You just might keep the sanity. You can find Steve at Simply Steve 313, or you can find the Bison at Lord Bison 45. Send him a message on Twitter, let him know how poor of a job we've done today, by all means. But please take the time to help us out and move up with rankings by giving us a thumbs up. If you're new to this channel, like what you've seen, and you've just managed to hold on, then please consider hitting that subscribe button. And don't forget to give the bell a tickle, a squeeze, and a smash. And never miss any of the great content from the TNI-UK or the US teams that come out every week. With that being said, I've been filling in for the Bison, obviously. And as the Joker, I say thank you to J-Bone for joining me. This has been episode 135 of the UK Impacted. And cheers to you guys for tuning in. Thanks for sticking around. And I'll see you next week.
See ya.
Take care, guys.
We're Boston!
Nope, now we'll see you next week.
We're Boston! We are in